And then I got into a band with Jeff Beccaro and David Paich and all those guys, which became Toto later on. And that was a kid band, and that really changed my life, really got me into the music side of things. So I started out in the music playing, but studied to be in art and design. And then I just fell back in love with music, then turned everything into music, just started 24/7 music, studying privately, lessons and all of that. But I always had that love for the concept of business. So my whole thing is I love business, and I feel that that's an art as much as the art is an art, because there's an art to business. So I try to combine those two things. And, I'm on my fourth startup company. And I've had a couple that were very successful. One that I got pummeled in, killed in the 2008 or 9 downturn in the marketplace. And, but I've got a new company now, which is Think, and we're experimenting. But yeah, I love both. And I just really fell in love with the technology side. I started seeing, the CD-ROM market start to happen, right? I saw tech start to happen, and I started hanging out in the cyberpunk scene myself. Nice. It actually happened. I did a CD-ROM called Music Bytes, which was the first, computer, a program designed for computer users to put music on their presentations for like PowerPoint and all that. So I was contracted to do this CD-ROM, and, I brought in, all the Toto guys and Supertramp guys and everybody we played. We did this thing for this deal, and myself, along with Jeff Baxter, from the Doobie Brothers, if you know Jeff, he was on this thing with me. We were promoting at Comdex, which was this big computer show in Vegas. And, we were showing this CD-ROM for computer users and stuff. And I looked across the room and I saw this screen, and it had a color. It had this coding. I said, so on our break, I walked over to it and I said, what is that? And it was a program for children called Just Gram on Me. And it was one of the very first programs. And it was the first time I'd seen somebody click on an object on the computer screen. It moved. Right. And I said, wow, that's the coolest thing in the world. And I'd been working on sound and picture with a thing I called visual sound, and a way of, putting microphones on people and using zooming microphones and this whole thing. So I was very much into the innovativeness and technology side, but I saw that completely changed my life. And then I just started hanging in the cyber scene, hanging with the technology, hanging out with Timothy Leary and all those guys back in the day, and really just got connected into the technology and saw my future was really the combination of technology and the entertainment space is where I wanted to go. And I figured there was a big opening, because the conversation between artists and the tech world is really tough, because in technology, it's either on or off. It's either yes or no. There's no gray area. In art, we throw something up and we try it, and then we mix, we try it differently, we experiment. And in technology, the engineers need to have it exact.
Yeah.
They don't want to know what's maybe, because they can't program a maybe. Although with quantum computing, we're now getting into that. But up till this point, it's all binary. So I kind of really got involved in that. Yeah. So I got involved in that, and I met my business partner, George Grayson, who was the time running the 20th largest software company in the United States. And, we hit it off, and that's how I started Seventh Level and brought Bob Ezrin, and we started doing all this interactive stuff. And I did that whole series of Little Howie titles, which was with Howie Mandel, which is an educational set of titles, which Toonland, which was that interactive cartoon educational piece.
Yeah.
We sold 11 million units of that, which was a big seller. It was one of the biggest selling CD-ROMs in history.
Yeah.
And, so I got really tied into the technology. And so I love both of it. And that's what I teach at USC is kind of the combination of business and, art, right? If you want to be in the business, you've got to be, is it a business or a hobby? If it's a business, we need to start thinking like a business. And I teach lean startup principles and all those types of things. So my love started music, but I was surrounded by, to answer your question, surrounded by, innovation and, the fun of basically building businesses. So I combined the both two together, and that's kind of what I did. Actually, when I was out on Pink Floyd, when we were out on tour, one of my deals I negotiated with them was having access to the phone so I could call back, because I had a company called Walt Tucker that was running all the time. So I was, been an entrepreneur for many years and loved the space for sure.
Amazing.
Was that a short answer?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
I
great
love that
answer.
answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great answer.
Yeah.
I want to ask you actually now with Think Experience and this new project that you've been working on, what do you see right now as your biggest technological hurdle that you think if we can clear this, this gives so much more room for this product or this new thing to breathe?
It's interesting. I think, where we're at right now is, we did our experiments because I'm big on testing and validating and experimenting before we throw money at it, right? So the biggest was, I said, we definitely need to bring the audience in. So for us right now, I'm really working on what is the tech infrastructure that needs to be done. So if you think of Think is really it's an entertainment company, but it's a tech company at the same time. So we're designing the technology stack for the live experience and streaming experience. It's all combined together. And then that's also tied to the audience management part of the platform, right? So.
Okay. So you see this as a whole package that you would kind of own, you would be a leader in that industry of the whole of it'd be kind of proprietary software to you. You wouldn't leverage something like a partnership with Zoom or something like that?
No, I'm leveraging everything. No, see, I believe everything. The companies I've had, we built all our own software and mobile messaging networks and all that. Well, right now, there's so many good tools and things out there that I think that it's more of an integration and maybe writing a little bit of middleware, having access to APIs and things where we can add our own 2 cents. But we're looking at a whole variety of technologies. I'm looking at the new TriCaster, which is by New Tech, which is an incredible broadcasting system tied with Live View, which is this, the kind of software that gives you a bonded cellular and, IP network kind of a model. That way, that's what they use on like Jimmy Kimmel and, all the television shows so that people can broadcast homes, but you got to, a guaranteed uptime because it's satellite linked and things like that. So we're building out that and exactly what that infrastructure is, but it's all the workflow from people signing up to the, hey, I want to be part of this experience. Okay. Which you're going to buy a premium service so that you're part of the in live stream. Okay. That's a certain price. And then, okay, you just want to watch or, you want to sign up for our delivery that ties to the concert series. And that's another piece. So it's really the whole infrastructure, but it's really, I'm more interested nowadays because I don't really want to be in the tech business in the same way where I have to have, 20 engineers and a whole bunch of people working and managing that whole aspect. I'd rather leverage the things that are out there, but finding those technologies that have the hooks in them that we can basically extend and kind of grow from there. So, so right now our thing is really working on that two-way piece, right? Because we can bring people in, but then there's certain things and how many people you can bring in, how do we put them in which rooms, how do we do all that? That's the tricky part.
Yeah.
But I think it's all very solvable and we can deliver a very good experience because there's some really good tech and stuff out there now.
Okay. Now, I do have to, I know we are very limited for time today and we normally have our 20 questions with Matty G. I want to actually forgo those just because we are getting close on our time kind of stretch here. But I do have another couple questions. One actually just because you were mentioning right now about your limited space and trying to get people into the Think experience. I was just actually in a conversation, I think it was yesterday, and it was with Darren Bruce. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him, but he hosts a show that's been going for quite some time called the DJ Sessions, and he connects with a lot of DJs from all over the world, and they've come up with something that is called oh boy, I really apologize to Darren if I say this wrong, but I believe it is called the silent disco. Have you heard of this?
Oh yeah, sure. Where silent disco is very interesting. We were experimenting with that too. People connect with their cell phones, they put on their headphones, and the band plays.
Yep.
Right, but you're hearing through your headphones, so you don't use any live sound. We did tests like that in a 360-degree immersive dome. It's a trip because everybody's listening through headphones, and if you take them off, it's quiet.
Yes.
Nobody's hearing anything.
And he's working he's working with multiple techno DJs all at the same time. So it's great because you can bring in parents and children and nephews and people of all different ages, and everybody can tune in to a different artist and then everybody's kind of dancing and celebrating at the same time, even though they're listening to different people. Yeah, which is quite interesting. So
it's interesting.
We have them coming up on the show soon, but I wanted to ask you, have you thought about, just because we were talking about the virtual reality and the Oculus kind of end of things, have you thought about bringing your experience into that full 3D immersive?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because I feel like
absolutely.
Your next step.
Oh, yeah, there's no question. We're already in the middle of that right now, actually, which will be tied to the whole show. We're getting ready to launch a series of shows. Mm-hmm. And, my business partners are out of that space, right? Okay. So there's varieties of technologies we're looking at in that where we can deliver across, it's like build once, distribute many. So you're going to want to go to all different places. And there's no question that this jolt of COVID is driving VR like crazy right now. Yeah. Right. Because it was running slow. People weren't taking it home, but now people are sitting home buying Oculus Rifts. They're starting to get into it. And, the most important thing is that the horsepower to deliver a great experience is getting there now.
Yes.
That was always the problem, because I remember I was doing VR back in 92, 93, and everybody said it's coming. It's going to be the biggest thing, right?
Yeah. Everything was bicubic, and
we didn't have, the problem is we didn't have enough horsepower in the devices and the user behavior in place. And so I think that's definitely
this virtual
right
boy is
now.
burning my retinas.
I can feel the fire. It's really funny because we were talking about, being around at the beginning of this technological shift, and it's true. I remember when that first VR came out, and even though graphically nowadays, when I look back and review it was absolutely horrible, but it blew my mind in the time. And when you think about, computers that used to be the size of a refrigerator, and that was nothing compared to the size it used to be. It took a warehouse and a cooling system to deal with. And now we carry cell phones in the palm of our hands and virtual reality on our head that are completely cordless. It's just absolutely amazing where technology has gone. But now to be able to integrate that, the musical experience into it. I mean, you could pay for a concert ticket, have front row seating, and it just be virtual reality and just as good. And you don't have to worry about sweaty people bumping next to you.
Yep. And no mask required.
Yeah. No masks.
No mask.
I was just watching a video today, and apparently HP, Valve, and Microsoft, they just coordinated on a headset called the Reverb G2.
Okay.
And it has 4K per eye resolution.
Wow.
And this guy was reviewing it. He's got an early release sample. He was saying the fidelity is so clear. It's finally the first time that like it looks real. You don't get any blur. You don't get any aliasing. It's just absolutely crystal clear VR.
Yeah.
And so I'm so excited to check this headset out. I hadn't even heard about it until today. So
that sounds incredible. Yeah. Like I said, this is accelerating everything like 5 years. We've moved fast.
Yeah.
It's like all these things, and now everybody's getting used to it. I mean, look at Zoom. I think they said Zoom is a $60 billion company now. I mean, it's stupid. For $6 billion, it's massive.
If they can only get their video not to chop, and when every time someone else cuts each other off, I would be sold.
Yeah, that's the hard part of all this. Yeah, the hard part is it's all that audio muxing, right?
Yeah.
You're trying to mix audio and leave all those microphones open and shutting them down. It's a very complex problem. It's amazing it works as well as it does, I have to say.
Yeah.
But this is all going to get better.
For sure.
I mean, within a year, you're going to see all this stuff, and other companies are coming up, and there's some other technologies. And, I think innovation is like on fire. I mean, we were just getting ready to experiment with a company, which is trippy. A friend of mine who's a big venture capitalist, they just put $10 million into this company, and basically they're shoes you put on, and it turns you into a speaker.
Oh, get out.
And it's like we were going to get 400 pairs and put our audience in them at our dome shows and stuff. I have not seen it or heard it or whatever, but it's supposed to, he says, once you listen to music like this and you experience it, he says, you will never go back.
Oh my God, I have to see this.
There's some new things that are basically coming out that are going to be mind boggling, for people. So we're moving into the experiential play. That's where the money is.
Yeah.
That's where the dollars are. Like I said, you can't sell music anymore. So for artists, music. It's not streaming
Yeah.
for 99% of the art, or 98% of the artists. To make $5,000 on a stream, on a song and a stream, you got to get 1 million streams, and
Wow.